Hi everyone, it's Debbie, the shrink on your couch. So we've been talking this week about cheating and infidelity in committed, serious, exclusive relationships. And I spoke in the first installment, I spoke about some of the reasons why people cheat. Then I thought about it a little bit more and realized I'd left something off that list. And now I want to chat to you briefly about some of the challenges that I have in my private practice working with couples where somebody has been unfaithful. So quite often when a couple come to see me, they want to work on their relationship, they want to fix it, they want to save it, but somebody has been sexually or emotionally unfaithful. I'll sometimes turn to the person who's been cheated on. Not the person who's cheated, the person who's been cheated on. And say, look, I must be very honest with you. You do understand that you are the person who has to do 90% of the work in making this situation right. Let me tell you why. He or she, the person who's cheated, the best that they can actually do is to be remorseful and to apologize and to do everything in their power to rebuild trust. But that's it. They can say, I'm desperately sorry, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to be honest and transparent. That's really it. It's all they can do. You, as the person who've been cheated on, have to deal with all of your insecurities, your fears, your doubts, your hurt feelings, what it brings up for you in your self-esteem. Was he or she better than me, thinner than me, better in bed? Did they connect better? Why did he or she treat her better than he or she treats me? You're the one that has to do the work, because you're the one that will be going quietly out of your mind with anxiety, paranoia, hurt, fixation, a need to keep revisiting and asking hundreds of thousands of questions. You have to do the hard work, because you can't stay in that space of being so terribly frantic and hurt and still continue the relationship. So there's a period of mourning and healing and grappling and fighting and being in therapy. But at some point, if you're going to stay meaningfully in that relationship, you're going to have to move beyond those things. And that's really difficult. And that's why I tell the person who's been cheated on that they're the person who's going to do most of the hard work. So the difficulty for the person who's cheated is that as remorseful and repentant as they may be initially, there does come a point where they get a little bit tired of dealing with this hysterical partner. And it's again, I'm not talking about right and wrong and judgment. People just are going to respond the way they're going to respond. And somebody who's been cheated on is going to be very angry and he's going to bring it up all the time. And he's going to ask 100 questions, 1,000 questions. And at some point, it might start to feel a little tedious. And at some point, you might not want to revisit this all the time, especially if you already feel like a bit of a dick about it. So that's where cheating starts to take its toll weeks and months in, no matter how much you initially really want to work on it and sort it out. I'm not suggesting that it can't be fixed. And I've said before that I've had couples come in where there has been infidelity and they've worked really hard and they've really honored each other and really respected each other and really tried to understand what went wrong and how they can get beyond it and how they can actually reclaim their relationship and make it better than it ever has been and safeguard it from this happening again. So I'm not hopeless about infidelity in relationships, but I do understand that it's incredibly difficult for the person who's been cheated on, and even more so because at some point they're going to have to get over it. At some point, not immediately, but at some point, if the relationship's going to work, they're going to have to actually forgive. And that's extraordinarily difficult, especially when it's now evoked all of this insecurity and heartache and doubt and mistrust. And for the person who's cheated, they can stay in the game initially and they can do all the right things and go to therapy, but at some point they might get really frustrated and angry. The last thing is that for the person who's the person who's actually cheated, they don't always want to feel like the bad guy. They don't want to be defined, as big as it is. They don't want to be defined by this thing indefinitely. For 5-10 years in the future, they don't always want to be the bad guy or the bad girl. I'm not being sexist about this. Men and women cheat in equal measure, to be honest. But that's why it's difficult. Those are the challenges that come up down the line. So we can talk more about this as we go. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts. I just wanted to give you some sense of what I see when there's been infidelity in a couple. And I'm going to stop now because I can ramble for days and actually say nothing more than what I've already said. So all the best. Have a lovely day. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.